So I have a LinkedIn account that I haven't even looked at since its inception, and I kind of want to just forget that it exists, but I know one of these days I'm gonna have to go peel back the Band-Aid to see what I can do to clean it up. Or maybe not, hopefully not. I don't know. I just know that I'm not the kind of guy who should have a LinkedIn account, and having one is a source of anxiety. Any accolades I put on there might as well be hieroglyphs, just meaningless novelties. Nobody on that site is gonna see how invaluable I would be to their business just by knowing that Bath Time, my short film that's pretty much just 13 minutes of me in a bathtub trying to justify my own self-indulgence, was selected by Genre Blast 6, an indie film festival in Winchester, Virginia. That's through no fault of their own. It's just not how that user base is wired. Yeah, for me, having a LinkedIn account feels like I'm exposing my flank. And if you're not familiar with military analogies, just check out this diagram of the Battle of Cannae. So yeah, imagine this is my Instagram and YouTube content pressing back the Gallic and Spanish infantry, i.e. my regular audience. But notice here, see here's the cavalry, or the white collar gatekeeper types swooping around to see how unimpressive I am on paper by their social hierarchy standards. So yeah, it's no good. So yeah, I've included either padding or deleting my LinkedIn account in my self-quarantine to-do list, which is another source of anxiety for me right now. I'm supposed to be making myself a new site. I'm supposed to cut a new acting reel with clips of a few bit parts I've had the past 2 years. I'm supposed to cold email commercial agents for whenever auditions are a thing again. I need to join more job platforms for creatives so I can try to bring in more freelance editing and motion graphics work. There's an app I want to develop. I want to try getting a write-up for this vlog, if you know of any vlog critics, or if that's even a thing. You can gather from the items on there that I'm trying to set myself up for success for whenever we're let back out into the field. But what I find myself doing every morning after I brew my cup of Lavazza is reworking the werewolf feature that I've been writing the past 2 years. Then when Emily's awake, I'll go into the bedroom and noodle around on guitar for a while. I have always wanted to release a freak folk album, and I feel like I might have time to do that now, so that might be something else that I lose myself in next week. Yeah, it isn't till about 3 p.m. When the self-loathing sets in, and I wish I could say it was the virtuous kind. Emily actually asked me the other day, she just up and asked me how I can focus so well on my craft when a global pandemic is on, and all I could say was that I've had a lifetime of practice. Yeah, I've been hooked on arts and crafts since I was a little kid, and every day that I have been alive has been rife with tragedy, and I've been able to insulate myself from it for the most part and doodle nonsense. And please, let's not forget that nonsense is just as much a part of life as tragedy is. There is a place for it. But sure, now that tragedy is being publicized 24/7 and we're at the epicenter of this rendering of it, I guess I can bring myself to feel less dignified than I already do about vlogging in the comfort of my own home. I will do that, but that's not where I was going with that. The self-loathing I was talking about here had more to do with my avoidance of industry. I have an aversion to the business side of creating that it's debilitating. My skin crawls when I write resumes. Yeah, I don't really understand it, but if I had to guess, I think it's a phobia of defining what I do too narrowly, and you know, that's kind of fundamental to business as I understand it. You kind of have to define what you do to brand it. Neil Burton writes that not only is a creative person more tolerant of ambiguity, but he experiences the order and structure that others find comforting as inhibiting and even suffocating. For this reason, he feels the need to confront norms and conventions, discard certitudes of black and white definition, and escape into a richer, more nuanced, borderless gray. The freedom that he finds in this limbo enables him to enter into periods of intense concentration and focus akin to a trance or hypomanic episode. And considering this, that artists are born junkies, I'm doing pretty good. I got a roof over my head, I got a full fridge. But yeah, I still see a lot of my contemporaries doing way better than me. And of course, I get to thinking maybe I could use this time while the whole world is on pause to improve myself. And again, not in a moral or spiritual way, but yeah, I'm talking about my career. So yeah, it doesn't feel good that I've been in my apartment 2 weeks now and I haven't touched that.
The opposite of distraction is, wait for it, attraction. I'm sure you have a long list of things that you have to do, and you're thinking, Jay, I'm not attracted to any of those.
So yeah, I've been watching Jay Shetty videos, so that's something, I guess. I've been treating it like market research, almost. The thing with Jay Shetty and the self-improvement racket in general is that it peddles wisdom that we should have already internalized by now. There's a good piece by Richard Whittall on nationalpost.com. He writes, when it comes to the thornier issues of our psychological and emotional well-being, the new cult borrows heavily from both Buddhism and the ancient Greek philosophy known as Stoicism, with calls to be mindful of the present moment, focus on what's in your control and ignore the rest. Accept your present circumstances with magnanimity, realize you are not your thoughts, etc. Of course, none of this advice is objectionable on its own, despite its promoters' tendency to push quick fixes. Much of what they suggest is still both practical and useful. But the sheer volume of blogs, online seminars, and podcasts all selling the same story raises the question, why does such a simple, largely uniform message require so many voices to propagate it in slightly different ways over and over and over again? And the answer, of course, is that the message doesn't require so many voices. No message does. So we can just focus on one or two. I propose Jay.
To be able to train the mind and energy to focus it exactly where you want it and when you want it to be. You are completely detached and undeterred from external ups and downs.
He's a fascinating character study. He's pretty much the Rasputin of the information age. A former monk who worked as a digital analyst for a global consulting firm, really?
There's a beautiful verse in the Bhagavad Gita that says that
detachment is not that you own nothing. Detachment is that nothing owns
Like the
you.
former monk thing is such a nice branding flourish because it gets you asking questions like why former? Why did he leave the monastery? And you can almost imagine the other monks surrounding him and being like, Jay, you're too hot, you gotta leave. You know what I mean? Like, go out into the world, conquer the attention economy, or don't. But you can't stay here. You're distracting everybody. I don't know. And then he has to like hike down the mountain with his knapsack and devise a plan to become viral. There's an origin story there that he's not telling us. He's not spilling the beans. He's just leaving it up to us to imagine. Yeah, that's how you get people to love you, according to Brian Phillips. You keep people at a distance, but you give them back their dreams. I think that's exactly what Jay's doing. I think he knows. I think it's brilliant. The appeal of videos like this, I think, is in the way that they make us feel like we're nourishing ourselves, even when we're just sitting on our ass. Like, we can be in our pajamas watching this and still get a sense that we're doing something. We're investing in tomorrow when we're gonna go on like a morning jog and start a business. But then tomorrow comes around and 9 times out of 10, we're still in our pajamas and we're still watching Jay Shetty videos. I mean, they're that good. You could keep this video on loop all day if you wanted, and you would enjoy it, but it would never make the decision to start your day for you. And I think that's the point that Shia LaBeouf was trying to drive home when he was screaming, "Just do it," at us. Do you remember that?
Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just...
But see, he can exert himself all he wants. It's up to me, ultimately. Either I will or I won't do it. And I don't think I have it in me to clean up my LinkedIn account right now. I feel like noodling and then hating myself for it later because that's par for the course for a constituent of the new cult like me. This dark side of the self-improvement cult has not gone unnoticed by critics, some of whom compare its focus on personal salvation, the manic need to produce and strive and improve as much as we can in the short time we have on earth, to the old Protestant work ethic, which still permeates much of our culture to this day. In a recent post, the Outlines' Vincent Bevins makes this link explicit. The Protestant work ethic is what's behind the perverted impulse to self-flagellate and ask what to be accomplished.
That's why we get jealous every time we find out that some accomplished famous person is younger than us. In the US, for example, it doesn't matter if you're Catholic or Jewish or Buddhist. They're all still basically Calvinist deep down.